Archangel Michael has stopped time right now, and if you felt even for a second a different weight in the air, a kind of silence inside, as if the world had turned down the volume, this is not a coincidence. There are meetings that are not born of chance. They are born of an urgency from heaven. There are moments that are not just moments, they are windows opening into the invisible. And today one of those windows has opened before you, because there is a request that could no longer wait. Your Father in heaven wants to speak to you now. Not tomorrow, not when you are readier, not when life is calmer, because he knows life almost never gets calm. He knows how your days pile up, how your responsibilities swallow you whole, how you learn to smile so you don't worry anyone, while behind that smile, you try to hide the exhaustion that weighs like a wet backpack on the back of your soul. So he has come now, right now, because he knows that deep down there is a place in you that has been begging for an answer. A place that asks voicelessly, "Dad, do you hear me? Do you see me? Are you still with me? Did I ruin everything? Could I have changed what happened?" And today heaven has answered that place. Breathe deep, don't run inside. Don't cross through this message like someone crossing a street. Stay, because what is about to touch you is not entertainment. It is an embrace that crosses time. I don't say this to scare you. I say it to wake you with gentleness. Archangel Michael is here as the guardian of this conversation, and he is so close that some feel a discreet warmth in their hands, a light tingling in their arm, a soft weight on their shoulder, as if someone approached without making a sound. There are people who will call this imagination. But you know the difference between imagining and recognizing. You know when something touches your heart with a precision no one could guess. You know when a sentence finds you on the inside. And that is what is happening. Michael holds something in his hands, but it isn't paper, it isn't ink, it isn't anything of the world you touch. It is a band of light, like a letter written in energy, and this letter carries your father's heart. Michael says the first line needs to enter you as truth, not as an idea, not as fleeting comfort, but as a reality that reorganizes your soul. Your father never abandoned you. Not for a day, not for a breath, not for a second since he crossed the veil. And he needs you to hear this in a way that disarms, once and for all, that cruel loop that plays in your mind when you lie down in the dark and the silence gets too loud. I should have. I could have. If I had said. If I had done. That loop is not his voice. That weight is not his love. That courtroom inside your head is not his presence. Your father did not leave this world with resentment toward you. He left with love. And love, where he is now, does not diminish. Love does not go out. Love expands. That is why sometimes, without apparent reason, a sudden wave of sadness visits you in the middle of the week, in the middle of an ordinary day, and you try to distract yourself, try to do something else, but your heart gets tight for a few minutes, as if someone were knocking on the door of your chest. Your father was there. That is why, on specific nights, you have thought, "I can't keep doing this." And right after, something inside you whispered, "Just one more day," and you can't explain how you managed to get up. That whisper was him. He doesn't go away, he is here, and he didn't come just to move you emotionally. He came to set you free. Because there is a blessing that has been stuck over your life, waiting for a single internal movement. Understanding. The kind of understanding that unlocks doors. The kind of understanding that dissolves guilt and makes room for peace. Michael says your father is taking a step forward now, and there is an expression on his face that is impossible to mistake. It isn't anger, it isn't demand, it is focus, it is love in the form of attention. It is like when a father realizes his child is about to fall, and before the tumble happens, he already moves. Your father has been watching you go through things that you didn't even recognize as battles won. You call it, "I got lucky," you call it a close call, you call it, "It wasn't meant to be," but he calls it a rescue. There was a situation that looked good on the surface but would have broken your spirit. There was a connection, a path, an opportunity that promised a lot but would have drained you inside until you saw yourself unrecognizable in the mirror. And he blocked it, he diverted it, he closed it, and you, at the time, thought it was a loss. You cried, you questioned, you asked yourself why. Today he tells you with the firmness of one who loves, you didn't lose anything. You were saved. And if something inside you reacts to this sentence with a gentle jolt, as if a part of your history clicked into place for the first time, don't push it away. Recognize it. Because that recognition is the door opening. Michael says your father points now to another door, one you have felt like a stone in your chest, a choice, a relationship, a change, a job, a big step, something you have been carrying in silence, pretending everything is fine, while inside your mind races as if trying to predict every possible ending to avoid pain. You have been asking for a sign. You have been asking for clarity. You have been asking for an answer that isn't confusing, an answer that isn't maybe. And your father says the answer is already forming around you, but you need to get quiet enough inside to hear it. Not quiet on the outside. It's not about disappearing from the world. It's about calming the internal noise that makes you doubt even what you feel. And now, if you feel a spark of recognition, however small, pause inside yourself and affirm it. Even if your voice comes out low, even if you are alone, even if you are ashamed of looking silly, say, "I know you are here, Dad." Because when you name the presence, you strengthen the bridge. Michael says your father is especially attentive to the tears you hide, not the social tears, the ones people see and understand. He speaks of the tears you wipe quickly in the bathroom, looking in the mirror like someone trying to pull themselves together before going back to the role of the strong one. He speaks of the tears on the pillow in the dark so no one hears. He speaks of that sigh you hold in your chest because you don't want to be a burden in anyone's life. Your father saw you becoming the support for many people, and at the same time, feeling misunderstood, feeling different, feeling alone even in a crowd. He saw the effort, and he says something you need to let in as healing. I am proud of who you have become, proud not because you never fall, but because you always get up. Proud not because you don't feel fear, but because you continue despite the fear. Proud not because you always get it right, but because you have a heart that hasn't been corrupted, even after pains that would have hardened many people. And now he puts his hand on your shoulder, in the spirit, the way only a father does, the way that communicates without words. I am here. Some will feel heat, others will feel a gentle weight, others just a sudden urge to cry that comes from nowhere. Let it come. You don't need to be strong in this minute. You don't need to explain yourself, because there is a spiritual strength being transferred to you, a strength you don't need to manufacture. You don't need to wake up tomorrow pretending everything is fine. Your father has asked heaven for relief for the mental battles that seem endless. He saw the panic that tries to reach you at night. He saw the tightness in your chest when you think about the future. He saw the constant worry like a radio left on in the back of your head. And he is working to calm this, not with magic that erases your humanity, but with a deep peace that gives you solid ground again, a peace that reminds you that you are not alone. Stay here, because the message goes deeper. Michael shows something now that looks like a photograph, but it isn't a common photo. It is a glowing memory, a simple moment. Maybe you laughing at something silly, maybe a day you thought went unnoticed. But for your father, it was one of the brightest moments of his life. He holds this memory as proof of who you are beneath the pain, because pain tries to rewrite your identity. Guilt tries to reduce you. Exhaustion tries to convince you that you have turned into a lesser version of yourself. But your father remembers. He remembers your shine. He remembers your heart. He remembers the love you gave the way you knew how to give. And he says, I forgive you for everything you think you did wrong. I forgive you for every conversation you reenact as if you could turn back time. I forgive you for every if I had. And I need you to understand, you didn't have the power to rewrite time. You didn't have the control your guilt pretends you had. You loved the way you knew how. You did what you could with what you had. That was enough. And now he asks for something that will hurt a little. Because letting go of guilt sometimes hurts, like letting go of a wound you've made a habit. He asks, put this weight down now. Say, even if quietly, I release this guilt. I choose to be at peace. And when you say this, it isn't just a sentence. It is a decision that opens space inside you for life to circulate again. Your father doesn't want you to live in the shadow of his death. He wants you to live in the light of his love. He is ahead of you, creating a path toward a future bigger than you imagine. And the future, for him, isn't just money. isn't just achievement, isn't just status. It is peace. It is dignity. It is you recognizing yourself again. Michael says your father is organizing a clear sign to reach you soon, and for some, this sign may happen in the next few hours, for others in the next few days, at the right time when your heart will recognize it without effort. It could be a song you haven't heard in years that plays at the exact moment you thought of him. It could be a scent that crosses the room and takes you straight to a memory. It could be his name appearing where it wouldn't make sense. It could be an inside joke, a phrase, an object he loved appearing out of nowhere to remind you that the invisible talks to the visible. When this happens, don't dismiss it as coincidence. Whisper, "I see you. I know it's you." Because that whisper is a bridge. And while you live, your father is moving people, conversations, and opportunities like pieces on a board. He removes obstacles you aren't even aware of. He silences mouths that speak against you, not with vengeance, but with protection. He guards you from dangers you never even saw. And I know this idea might seem too big, but you have already lived moments where something almost happened, and due to an inexplicable detail didn't happen. You have felt an intuition pulling you to change your route. You have been stopped by a delay that later seemed like salvation. These small detours were often invisible care. Stay close to this message, because now your father is ready to say something he couldn't put into words while he was alive. And understand, a secret isn't always dark. Sometimes a secret is a pain he didn't know how to explain. Sometimes a secret is a shame he carried alone so as not to contaminate you. Sometimes a secret is a limitation he had and never knew how to turn into conversation. Your father says your soul has matured, and now you are ready to hear the deepest truth. There were things for which he wished to apologize. There were moments when he was distant, distracted, angry, broken, and that made you question your worth. And he tells you with honesty that heals, "I am sorry. I am sorry for every time my silence hurt you. I am sorry for every time I made you feel insufficient. I am sorry for every time I didn't know how to love the way you needed." And then he says the phrase that dismantles a lifetime of self-accusation. "You were never the problem. The problem was the wounds I didn't heal. The problem was the fears I didn't face. The problem was the limitations I carried. And you, even so, kept loving. You kept trying. You kept being a son, being a daughter, being heart." And now, Michael says your father is lifting that heavy, invisible backpack you have been dragging. The backpack full of, "Maybe I'm not enough," full of, "Maybe it's my fault," full of, "Maybe I deserve less," or full of, "I can't mess up because everyone depends on me." He never wanted you to wear that backpack as an identity. He says, "I want to see you light. I want to see you free. I want to see you receiving what is yours," and here heaven touches on a point you need to hear without running away. You have been living below who you really are. You diminish yourself to make other people comfortable. You try to be easy, try to ask for the minimum, try not to bother anyone, because a part of you convinced itself that this is all you deserve. Your father looks at you with fire in his eyes, not against you, but for you. And he says, "Enough. Stop acting like you are common. You are not small. I never saw you as small." And that sentence, if you let it in, changes the way you walk, changes the way you choose, changes the way you position yourself. Because there is a bigger blessing approaching. Something beyond what you dared to ask. And to receive it, you need to start seeing yourself as he sees you, standing tall, worthy, chosen. Not chosen in the sense of superior, but chosen in the sense of loved. And true love doesn't shrink you, true love lifts you up. Michael indicates that your father points now to a specific situation or person that drains you. You know who it is. You don't need a name here, you feel it. Whenever you engage with this, you leave heavier, more confused, less hopeful. You try to justify, try to give chances, try not to seem harsh, but inside your body has already given the diagnosis. Your father asks, "Trust that feeling." He says, "I cannot bring what is destined for you while you are entangled with what is not. I see motives you don't see. I see intentions hiding behind smiles. I see a disappointment or betrayal forming backstage, and I am begging you to pull back, to establish a boundary, to choose distance with peace. Not out of grudge, not out of war, but out of love for yourself. Because boundaries are not walls against people. They are doors you close so your peace doesn't escape. And when you do this, you create space for heaven to act. You create space for the new to enter. You create space for the blessing to arrive faster. Stay here. We are reaching the heart of this message. Your father is also reminding you of something you buried. A gift, a calling, a passion, something you put aside because life got heavy, because you needed to survive, because you needed to be practical, because someone told you it wouldn't work, because you started to doubt yourself. It could be your creativity, it could be your ability to counsel and help. It could be your writing, it could be your music, it could be a business idea, it could be your desire to serve, it could be a talent with children, it could be a dream you call silly so you don't feel the pain of wanting it. Your father says, that thing you keep discarding is where your true prosperity lives. Prosperity isn't just money, but dollars can also come as a consequence of you aligning with what you were born to do. He is about to send ideas, flashes of inspiration, sudden clarity, solutions that pop into your mind as if coming from nowhere. And when they come, don't ignore them. Write them down, note them, respect them, because these are projects sliding through the veil to you. Step-by-step guidance to build the life he always dreamed you would have. And maybe you say, but I'm tired. Yes, you are. And for that very reason, he isn't asking you to carry more weight. He is asking you to carry what is light because it is yours. What tires you is living misaligned. What tires you is surviving without meaning. What tires you is trying to please everyone and abandoning yourself. What renews you is coming back to your center. Michael says your father is wrapping you in a spiritual hug right now, and it's okay if you feel like crying. Let it happen, because tears sometimes are the soul washing itself. He says the loneliness is breaking. You have walked through this life feeling like an orphan at certain moments, even surrounded by people, because no one seemed to really see you. But he sees. He always saw. He rides in the passenger seat when you drive. He stands beside you when you look in the mirror doubting yourself. He is nearby when you cook, when you work, when you sit in silence. You are not doing this life alone. You have a Father in heaven and an ally in the spiritual realm who is invested in your future. And now the winds are changing. The heaviness that has been wrapped around you like a soaked coat is starting to loosen. The cloud over your mind is dissipating. There is a sunrise coming that will bring tears not of sadness but of relief, and you will notice small things, a little more energy, a little more courage, a little more clarity, as if someone turned on a dim light in a room you were used to crossing in the dark. Stay here. We are reaching the climax of this message. Michael is even closer, and his wings open like a shield around you, because your father is about to place something important in your hands. He places a torch made of light, a symbol of wisdom, strength, and legacy, and he says, "The season of just mourning my absence is over. The season of walking with me toward your future begins now. This doesn't mean you will never miss me again. It means the longing will stop being a prison and become a bridge." He wants you to wipe your eyes, not to deny the pain, but to see. He admits with humility that he didn't have all the answers when he was alive. He made choices out of fear. He was limited by wounds he didn't heal. But from where he is now, he sees the complete map of your life. He sees traps that would repeat his history, and he is determined to stop you from repeating it. And then he says something that changes the way you see yourself. You are not here just to continue what I started. You are here to elevate. You will go further than I went. You will break ceilings I never touched. I do not feel threatened by your success. I am your biggest cheerleader, and if that sentence puts a lump in your throat, it's because a part of you was always afraid of going beyond and seeming disloyal. Your father releases you from that fear. He wants you to win. He wants you to bloom. He wants you to live. Michael reveals that today your father is placing special protection over your home, your health, your decisions, and your finances. He knows the worry that grabs you when the bills come. He knows the secret fear that there won't be enough. He knows the anxiety of caring for those who depend on you. And he says, look around you, the same God who cares for the smallest creature will not forget you. I am in agreement for you to be provided for. And provision sometimes comes as an unexpected opportunity, a conversation, a yes where you expected a no, a door opening without you needing to humiliate yourself to force it. And when that happens, take a moment and say, thank you, I know it was you. Not because he needs your thanks to act, but because your gratitude keeps you conscious that you are not alone. Your father wants to leave a truth in you. Love does not end. it changes form. Every time you speak his name, every time you share a story, every time you smile at a memory, you are not just remembering. You are strengthening the bridge between your world and his. And he asks, change the way you think of him. Don't visit his memory only with a heart full of death. Visit with love. Talk to him in your day as if he were sitting in front of you. Tell him your decisions. Ask for guidance. Laugh at something that reminded you of him. He says, I didn't disappear. I moved to a place where I can protect you better. And now, Michael says the light around you intensifies because your father is speaking a final blessing for this moment. He touches you spiritually on the head, on the heart, on the shoulders, anointing you with fresh joy. He is lifting the fog of discouragement, the dragging exhaustion, the feeling of being stuck. You will wake up soon and feel different, lighter, more focused, more hopeful than you have been in a long time. You will have ideas, energy, and a quiet certainty that you do not walk alone. This is his gift. And he gives you simple directions, like a father who wants to see his child truly living. Take that course. Plan that trip. Start that project. Write that book. Say yes to that invitation that feeds your soul. Say no to what steals your peace. Don't keep waiting for a distant perfect moment. Life is fragile. Live while you have it. I will walk with you. And now Michael steps back gently, leaving the shield at your door as if saying, you can call me when you need. Your father smiles, healthy, whole, lighter than you remember, and he whispers a promise in your spirit, I will be with you until the end of time. In the coming days, watch for small signs of beauty that warm your soul for no reason. A white bird, a sudden ray of light, a pattern of numbers that appears insistently, an unlikely meeting, a thought of direction that comes with peace, not as superstition, but as affection. He will speak a lot through your intuition, those sudden impulses to call someone, to change your route, to say no, to say yes, that calm knowledge inside you. And if at any moment this all seems too intense for you, remember, you don't need to carry this alone. Look for someone you trust. Open your heart, because heaven doesn't ask for isolation. Heaven asks for life. And now, Michael manifests with his own voice, not just as a messenger, but as the eternal guardian of your journey. I, Michael, Prince of the heavenly hosts, stand as a witness to this sacred alliance between father and child, between heaven and earth. For millennia I have observed the dance between souls who love each other, separated only by the thin curtain of mortality. And I need you to understand something fundamental. Your father is not distant. He is here, as present as the air you breathe. Death is not separation. It is transformation. He changed form, like water that becomes steam and continues to be water. When you think of him with love, you create a bridge of light. When you speak to him, he hears every word, not as a distant echo, but as a clear voice crossing dimensions. Time, as you know it, does not exist the same way where he is. A moment for you can be an eternity of connection for him. I saw you question your faith. I saw you ask yourself if prayers are heard, if there is anyone on the other side paying attention. Let me be clear. There is an army of light dedicated to you. Your father is the most invested, the most passionate, the most determined to see you prosper. There are forces in this world, seen and invisible, that work against your peace. Sometimes they are people, sometimes they are systems, sometimes they are energies you don't even know how to name. Your father, in collaboration with me and other guardians, intercepted attacks that would have destroyed you. You have no idea how many times ruin was diverted, how many times betrayal was exposed before hitting you, how many times danger was redirected. And in the coming months, there will be changes that, at first glance, might seem chaotic. Relationships may end, jobs may change, familiar places may become strange. Do not panic. This is necessary reconfiguration. Think of it as spiritual surgery, uncomfortable in the moment, essential for your survival and growth. Your father sees greatness sleeping in you, a purpose so big that if you knew it entirely right now, the weight of it might overwhelm you. That is why he reveals your journey in layers, step by step, ensuring you are ready for each new revelation. You were prepared through pain. I know that sounds harsh, and in the darkest moments you may have cursed your own existence. But that pain was not random. It taught you compassion. It taught you strength. It taught you to recognize suffering in others because you knew it intimately. And that wisdom born of pain will be key to the work you came to do on this earth. There are people waiting for you, people you haven't met yet, who are praying for someone exactly like you. Someone who understands, someone who survived, someone who can say, "I have been where you are and there is a way out." Your Father is organizing these meetings. At the right moments, you will cross paths and recognize each other by the familiar shine of transformed pain. But first, you must heal. You must allow yourself to receive. For a long time, you have been the giver, the helper, the strong one. You prided yourself on not needing anyone, on not being a burden, but that fierce independence became a prison. It keeps people away. It keeps blessings away. Your Father wants you to learn to receive. When someone offers help, say yes. When someone wants to bless you, accept with gratitude. When an opportunity seems too good to be true, consider that maybe you really deserve good things. The universe does not conspire against you. Your Father and the kingdom of light conspire in your favor. There will be a moment, and it isn't as far as you think, when you will look back and see the pattern. You will see how every rejection was a redirection, how every loss created space for something better, how every tear watered the garden of your future joy. In that moment you will fall to your knees, not in despair but in overwhelming gratitude, and you will say, "Now I understand. Now I see what you were doing the whole time." Your Father wants you to know about forgiveness. You carried guilt for things that were not yours. You took responsibility for the choices of others, for circumstances out of your control, for timing that belonged to destiny, not to your failure. He needs you to release this now. Forgiveness is not forgetting, it is not denying that the pain was real. Forgiveness is refusing to let the past govern your future. It is looking at painful memories and saying, "You do not define me anymore. I learned, and now I release you." And this includes the forgiveness you need to offer yourself. You have been your harshest critic, your severest judge. If you treated anyone the way you treat yourself, it would be cruelty. Why do you think you deserve less kindness than you offer a stranger? Your Father says, "You were magnificent." Even in the worst decisions, there was effort, there was a heart trying. That counts. And in the days to come, I will work closer to you than ever. You can call me. My name carries power. When fear approaches, say, "Archangel Michael, protect me." When facing a difficult decision, say, "Archangel Michael, bring clarity." When you feel danger, say, "Archangel Michael, defend me." I will answer, not always the way you expect. Sometimes my protection will look like a closed door. Sometimes my guidance will come through the mouth of a stranger. Sometimes my defense will be so subtle you will call it luck, but I will be there. Your Father and I work in partnership. He knows you intimately. I bring authority to move obstacles and face shadows. Together we are a force dedicated to your blooming. And there is something else. You are being prepared for something. I cannot give you all the details because part of the journey is the discovery. But I can tell you it will be more meaningful and rewarding than anything you imagined. The world needs what you have to offer. Not the polished version, but the real you, still healing. People don't connect with perfection, they connect with authenticity. Your scars don't disqualify you, they qualify you. So stop waiting until you are ready. You will never feel completely ready. Take the next step. Trust that while you walk, the path appears. Your Father lights the way. I guard. And you will discover you had more courage than you ever knew. The journey won't be easy, and I won't lie saying it will be. There will be dark nights, there will be tears, there will be moments when you will want to give up. But you won't give up, because now you know the truth. You are not alone. You never were, you never will be. And when, a long time from now, after living fully, loving deeply and fulfilling your purpose, you cross to the other side, your Father will be there with open arms, smiling with pride, and his first words will be, "Welcome home, my child. You did so well. I saw everything. I was with you every step. So live, really live. Don't just exist. Don't just survive. Thrive. Love with courage. Laugh when you can. Cry when you need to. Create beauty. Spread kindness. Be evidence that light beats darkness, that love beats fear, that death does not have the final word. This is your Father's will. This is my mission. And now it is your destiny. The blessing is yours. The protection is yours. The future is yours. Go in peace, traveler. You are infinitely loved.